Here's an uncomfortable truth. AI isn't coming to replace you yet. It's going to start off replacing the people who don't know how to use it yet. So, if you've been hesitant to use it, here's your wake up call. Since 2021, I've been using AI every single day, not just for fun experiments or to write fancy essays, but to actually make more money, save huge amounts of time, and maybe the most important part is to get much better return on my effort. And here's the crazy part, if you're not already using AI, you're honestly behind. And it reminds me of an expression I love. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. And so, luckily for you, I'm going to share everything I've learned over the past 5 years of using AI, and I'm going to condense it down into an easy to understand video that's going to show you the different layers and levels. I'm going to walk through some of the basic to intermediate to advanced automations, ways I use AI, and how you can actually implement all of these today. So I think one of the best analogies about AI is imagine you had the best cookware, the sharpest knives, and the nicest kitchen in the world. That doesn't necessarily make you Gordon Ramsay overnight, right? And if I gave you a $100,000 camera, odds are your iPhone photos would still look better. Again, we have one of the most powerful tools at our fingertips, but most people just don't know how to use it correctly, and I'm looking to change that in today's video. AI is the biggest tool of our generation. It's one of the biggest breakthroughs sitting right in front of you, and let's go ahead and dig into how to actually use it in 3 different ways to make you more money, save you more time, or just in general improve your life. So if you're serious about leveling up your income, learning how to use AI, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button. It's free to do, and I guarantee it's going to bring you a positive ROI. Now I'm going to switch over to screen share because I think the best way to learn this is to show you how it's actually done. So let's go ahead and start off simple. Again, you can access ChatGPT for free. Just put in chatgpt.com. And one of the best hacks that I've seen for getting to use AI more is to just make it in your visuals. So what I do is I basically have this ChatGPT thing pinned on my web browser, or you can just make it your default. So anytime you open a new tab, it just automatically opens ChatGPT. So you can click this plus button and then it'll just open. You can go into settings on Chrome and Safari or whatever browser you're doing to make that happen. I like the pin thing because it's always there, it's always present, and it's always in my field of view. The other thing I've done for ChatGPT is I have a few different presses on my iPhone. So anytime I press the side button, it just opens ChatGPT. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and walk through the basic level of using ChatGPT. Again, the biggest issue I see with most beginners is they just put in a really simple prompt and they just don't know really how to use it. So in general, the better the output is going to be based on the better the prompt you have. So what I want to do here is I basically want to go ahead and improve a landing page. And a landing page is basically where you're sending traffic, warm traffic from, YouTube videos, or it could be cold traffic from ads. And so the importance of this is improving the copy and structure of your landing page can really benefit in making you more money. And again, if you don't have a business or website, we actually do this. We'll build you one for free inside of our community. You can join the link down below, but more on that later. So what I want to show you here is a prompt that I've generated is take the copy from this landing page, paste in your copy, and suggest improvements that could increase the conversions from 10 to 15%, provide a revised version, explain why each change works, use resources like Cashvertising Online, and Alex Hormozi's series of books to help improve the copy, offer, and other details. So I've got the landing page here on this tab here. And basically what I would suggest doing is go to your browser. If you're trying to find a landing page, again, this also works for LinkedIn. If you don't have a business or anything set up, you can just go to File, Print, and then you can save it as a PDF. It does a pretty good job. It doesn't save the colors, but it does a better job of formatting the actual copy. Or what you can do is there is a few websites that do a better job of this. Let's just go to URL to PDF. And so you can just put in this, copy and paste this website, put it in here. And this does a better job of actually getting the visuals of the page. There's a few other ways to do this that are a little bit more technical. But again, I just want to show you something that's super easy. You can use it for LinkedIn to improve your LinkedIn profile. Hey, give me some feedback on how to make my LinkedIn more appealing to this industry and this type of hiring manager. You can do it to make your website better. Anything that you can take a screenshot of or download is going to be super beneficial. And using screenshots is one of the best ways I've seen for ChatGPT that I don't see a lot of other people doing. So let's just go ahead and go back to ChatGPT here, and we'll basically just upload that version. And then once you upload it, you can upload a screenshot, you can upload the PDF, or you can do any sort of mixture. And so the cool thing about PDF is it's going to include multiple things. In general, what I suggest doing for the better sort of outputs is just focusing on one section. So for example, if you want a better offer, I would just say, like, take a screenshot here. I think ChatGPT is good, but if the landing page is really long, it's just going to get like not as good of an output. So what I found is, let's revise this. And I wanted to only focus on the headline or the H1. So the headline in H1 is probably the most impactful thing outside of like load speed and other things that go into your website, like if it's optimized for mobile. One of the biggest impacts that I've seen on any sort of website or conversions is the H1, and it's the copy. And basically the H1 is just this part here. So this would be the H1. Usually H2 is this part here. Sometimes it's a little bit smaller. Some people might consider this like the H3. And so that just means it's the header, it's the main text, and the general rule is people should understand what this is about in as little as 3 to 5 seconds. So if they can't tell what's going on your landing page within that amount of time, they're going to bounce, they're going to leave, and it's just a waste of time or money that you use to get people to this landing page. And so this is why having this sort of feedback can make you a lot of money. So here's basically what I would more or less focus on is what is the headline that's going to have the biggest impact. And the cool thing about the tool that I'm using here and what we build people's websites and funnels on for free if you join our community is we use High Level, and it comes with a really cool split testing tool. So it'll send half of your traffic or whatever amount of traffic. And the cool thing about this is the split test. All we did was change this word here, and I'll go back to show you. So replace your 9 to 5 income in less time than you think versus discover the 3 secrets to start. So that's all we did was we just kind of changed this one sentence, and it had a huge impact. This page was converting at about 10%, and then the split test was converting, this one here was converting at 15%. So the reason that this is so important, let's say you get 1,000 people on your website, right? And it's converting 10% of those, 100 versus 150 at 15%. Now, that is a huge influx. And so let's say everything else stays the same. You've literally almost doubled your business, right? Just by doing this one sentence change on your website. So just to show you the power of that. And so basically what you need to do is you need to just go through and test this. Like, again, this is all a starting point. I think what happens is people just copy and paste too much. It's like they'll just find one they like, they'll copy and paste it. But in general, you need to really figure out what is the formula that's going to work. And so you got to think about where people are coming from, where they're at, and where they're going to. And you need to present that value. Because if this headline is just lying about the next step, let's say I'm like going to give them a free, audit or consultation, and then they get on the next page and it's not that, they're not going to stay on there. They're going to leave. They're essentially going to bounce from the next page, and the conversions are going to drop. So you want to make sure that what you're claiming here, you're actually delivering on the next step, and also moving a step back. If you're running a paid ad that doesn't line up with this, and then it's completely a mismatch from where they're going, that's why copy is so important, because you really need to focus on the lead journey. And so AI is a really good testing point to figure this out. And so usually my workflow would be to find one of these. I would make some adjustments and say, hey, I like this framework, come up with 5 different examples. And I would probably spend about 20 to 30 minutes just going through all these different options and just kind of using what I've learned over the years to figure out, okay, I think my hypothesis is this is going to work really well. And so if you have a LinkedIn profile, like you need to optimize the top of your LinkedIn profile for SEO, for also like understanding which value you bring into the world or what value you bring for a potential company to hire you. So that's why all this stuff is extremely important. And guys, we're talking about like 1 or 2 sentences here and spending 30 minutes on it that can make you thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's one great example here. And I want to move on to the next one, because this is just kind of the basic level. Now, moving on to the next part is going to be actually building automation. So let's say somebody actually opts into our page. What does that next step look like? What can we do to further increase our money, actually getting people to convert into customers? And a lot of people I see is they get leads and they start manually emailing them or texting them. And maybe they do a really good job in the first day or two of calling them, texting them, whatever, but they basically fizzle. Like, I don't see anybody doing it well after a week because they get new leads and they focus on those people. And they basically just you build this system where it just can't scale because you haven't built the right structure to it. So what I want to do is show you how to actually do that. And basically what I'm going to put in here is a prompt. And what I'm using here is high level. And this is basically something we set up and build for you inside of our community. And all you got to do is join our community and we'll build this for you, and it's free to start. So basically what I want here is to build a 14-day email and SMS nurture after people. So again, you got to kind of play with this. This is a beta in high level, but I just want to show you this feature. It basically uses AI, and it uses AI to actually build a workflow. So what we're looking to accomplish here is once people opt in, only about 5 to 10% of them are actually going to go to the next step, watch it, and then keep going on. And so you've got 90% of people that if you don't have this set up, likely aren't being touched. And this is the biggest issue I see is people don't need more leads. It's like you've got this sponge, right, full of water. You do one squeeze, yeah, but if you keep squeezing it, you can get more out there. And again, it's like, a juicer. The juicer can extract so much more of the liquid, and the liquid can be a lot of extra gold and money left on the table. And so what I found is like a 7 to 14 day post sequence from when they opt in is basically going to be the best way to really extract all this value. And so the easiest thing here is step one basically should just be send them what you're giving them. So I'm giving people a free workshop. So I just send them a link to access that workshop because maybe they opted in on their phone. Maybe they opted in on their, when they're on the way to work and they're just busy. They don't have, 45 minutes to watch it. So just sending them a few reminders by text message, by email. People have multiple devices, so you really need to remind them. And so it's basically been about 45 seconds here. Let's see how this actually turns out. And so in general, high level can do a lot of great things. It's a CRM, email automation. It can keep track of all your contacts. You can do, all right, guys, so we've got the sequence built here. And basically what I've called it here is just the welcome sequence workflow. And basically this is going to be as soon as people opt in. And the cool thing is I've already been in and tested this one out because I've been running ads and running workflows, and it's converting at a really great pace. So I want to actually show you guys like what that looks like so you can see the stat. And I think these stats are important because again, you got to test and you got to keep improving things. Your first hunch, the more time you put it in, usually the better it's going to be, but you have to test things. You have to split test, you have to try things out. And again, a lot of times like what I think is going to work isn't always the number one thing. Like this example on that 10% conversion versus 15%. So what we have here is we've got an open rate of 48%. And I actually just made a change to the click rate here. So before it was about 9%. So it's really good to see that we've already gone from 9 to 11.5. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like. Basically what I did was I changed the copy here and I put the CTA a little bit higher to adjust it. And so I wanted to make sure that it was really easy for people to access. And again, this headline, so they get an email right away, your free workshop inside limited time. Creates emergency, tells people exactly what they signed up for. And as soon as they submit that form, they get it sent to them. And so what you can do is you can use AI to actually go through and say, hey, here's what this is converting at. Send in a screenshot, put in the copy, and say, improve this to get more clicks. So let's go back to our new chat here. And I actually have a custom built GPT that I provide for people in the community. It works a little bit better than the out of the box. So if you watch this video and you join the community, just message me and I'll send that to you. So improve this email to get more clicks. So it's giving me some subject lines to test out. So I like how it's a little bit more specific. Again, the training is pretty good. So I like this intro with the button. Again, that's kind of like what I improved and I already saw good results. Like typically the higher you put the CTA, the better, is because most people already know like, hey, I just want the link. I lost it. That's all they're looking for. But the people who don't, like let's say 40% of them are gonna like, oh, what is this again? What did I sign up for? And what am I actually gonna learn? So reminding them of like the actual value so they don't waste their time, because it might be free, but nothing's free. They're giving up their time. So you need to make sure you're providing the value. And so what I would do to improve this actually is, like, by the end of this training, you'll learn how to go from X to Z. Like, you'll know how to go from beginner to advanced. And what does that look like? What does that look like for them? And so I would say, like, focus more on the transformation than the features. And so what I would do is say, hey, make it more focused on the transformation. And so if I wanted to take this a step further, what I would do is take the actual transcript from my workshop, and then I would say, use the below transcript. And then basically you just paste in the transcript and it'll give you better output. Again, you got to put in more things to give it the access to make a better output. So if it has the full, 1 hour training, it's going to have that transcript and it's going to give you a much better output. All right, so let's move on to the next advanced way here. So that's kind of the first two options here. Using AI, actually using AI to build a workflow, which is really cool. And then the third way here is to just have AI kind of like go and find you customers, which is really cool. So if you're on the premium version, you should see AI agent mode. But before we get to that, what I want to show you is how you actually create a prompt to get AI to use its AI agents to find you and get you more customers. So for example, let's say you've got a B2B business for plumbing. I want to connect with other plumbers, and you can say, let's just say in St. Louis. So any Missourians out there, shout out to you. That's where my hometown. And basically help me build a prompt and AI agent that will help me find these people on Upwork find these people on LinkedIn and send a welcome message to them. Again, what I would suggest doing is give it more details on who your avatar is. So like, if your avatar is somebody who is a business, they've been around for maybe 10 years, they have at least 2 to 3 employees at their company, they're based in St. Louis, whatever additional details you can give it, it's going to be a lot better. And so you also let's just see what it does. But this is basically to help me build a prompt that I'm going to later use for building an AI agent that can go and log into my LinkedIn and start messaging people to get customers. So let's see what it comes up with here. And if you haven't experimented with the AI agent sort of feature yet, it's one of the most powerful things. It's like really futuristic, where it can kind of open up a virtual machine and get ready and start doing a lot of the work for you. So this is pretty cool. And basically what I'm going to do, again, for keeping this as brief as possible, I would normally spend like an hour fine-tuning all this stuff, but it's kind of boring, so I don't want to bore anyone. So I want to go ahead and just show you how this actually works, give you a little bit of a preview. And so what you do here is just go to AI agent mode and then hit send. It's still working here. Oh, wow. All right, let's hit stop there. Again, I already have a fine-tuned prompt that works pretty well for LinkedIn. So if you want that, again, just hit me up in the Earn From Anywhere Academy and I'll send it to you. All right, so it's setting up the desktop. And basically what it's going to do here is create a virtual desktop where it can kind of log in and actually access your LinkedIn. And then it can start doing this stuff for you. So it was able to do that in 26 seconds. All right, sometimes you have to prompt it. This prompt is a little bit different than what I normally use. So sometimes you have to prompt it to actually open up what page you want it to do. And basically what it's going to do here is you can just sign in to your LinkedIn, and then it'll start sending that messages and those sequences on your actual behalf. And it'll basically just keep doing this until it runs out of credits or until it's successful. So in general, I just want to give you a preview about how this works. Again, a lot of this stuff takes fine tuning, and that's where I see most people just give up because they don't want to spend an hour going through testing and trialing things, getting results, fixing it. And so in general, all of these things are going to help you either save more time, make more money, or a combination of both. And so if you enjoyed this video, I want to highly suggest and invite you to join the Earn From Anywhere Academy. You can click the link below. We basically help you get your first customers. We build you a website and system to do that within 60 days, or we will work with you for free until you get your first customers. And so it's the fastest way to make your first $10,000 in a side hustle, and there'll be details on that below. And so for all those of you who haven't, make sure you hit subscribe, and then I'm going to leave a long form video training. It's basically a free 2-hour course here that's going to show you how all of this stuff works with high level, and it's going to give you a lot of insights on if you want to build your own system and CRM. And then hopefully you'll come to us, join the community, and we will see you on the inside. All right. Thank you.